Hello, welcome to my channel, The Salty Stitch. My name is Luba, and this is the inaugural video for my channel. What you can expect from this channel is mostly vlog style videos where I talk about patterns that I've made, things I've sewed up, my thoughts on them, and future plans. Normally when I sew, I like to have something in my ear kind of talking to me about sewing or discussing things, plans and projects. And I find those really inspirational. And what I find frequently is I'll have the channels that I normally watch, and then I'll watch all the new stuff while I'm sewing, and then about 1 or 2 hours into sewing, I've sort of run out. And I often go on a hunt for more of those videos, and I have trouble finding things that are not over the top or maybe with all the bells and whistles. I do like content that is highly produced and has a lot of good quality stuff in it. I just find that frequently correlates with a lot of other information that maybe I'm not that interested in. So I kind of want to take it back to old school sewing YouTube, which is kind of vlogging and chatting, and hopefully that might mean that maybe there's more of that kind of stuff out there, the kind of stuff that I like, and maybe you like it too. I could just be one of those companions for you while you sew, or when you're wanting to think about sewing but maybe can't get to your machine right away. I find that really helpful as well. You may have seen some of my videos with Miko on our channel Gathered. We frequently do that where we talk about patterns and things that we've made, and we discuss sort of the pros and cons and our experiences. We haven't had a chance to vlog very much recently. We do live about an hour and a half apart, and we've both got pretty busy lives, and we do try to make time for coming together, but right now it's summer and kids are home and there's a bunch of other stuff going on, so those videos might be a little bit more rare. I was hoping maybe this one would be a little bit lower lift for me to sit down and chat with the camera. I'm new to vlogging on my own, so I do appreciate you bearing with me while I figure out how to do this on my own and make this part of my routine. All right, so let's get started. One of the first things, it's hard to have a timeline for my recent makes because this is my very first video, so I don't have anything since my last video. So I'm just going to start at a random point in time recently where I was sewing, and the last thing, or one of the last things I've made was a True Bias Quinn top. I've made this pattern before. I made the dress version, and this time I decided to make just the vest version. I used a pretty sturdy cotton fabric. Y'all got it. So here it is. It's a striped cotton fabric, and I did my best to align the stripes, at least just in the middle. I know there's a lot of princess seams going around this top, so I didn't really bother aligning those stripes. But in the front, I thought it might be nice if they line up and are continuous. I found that this top was interestingly slightly too large for me. I followed the measurements pretty precisely. My suspicion is that in a sturdier fabric, this top might need to be slightly more fitted, because with a sturdier fabric, it seems to stand on its own a lot. And if it's not very close fitting, it does seem to like really accentuate the ease that is built in. I don't mind it. At first I was like, oh, I don't know if I can wear this. And then I actually took some photos with a friend and I styled it. And depending on the way my body moves, I think it's actually okay. I also think I'll be wearing it probably more as a vacation piece. And I think when you're on vacation, especially in a hot area, it might be okay to have something that maybe is a little bit more revealing sometimes. I guess depending on the venue and depending on where you're going, it seems okay. I also paired it with these True Bias Emerson shorts, and I'll attach a video or a photo of me wearing them and wearing them together. what are my thoughts on these? I've made the pants before, and I already was a little bit hesitant about these gathers over here. I like gathers, and I like elastic, and I like elasticated waist all right. Sometimes it, for some reason, I think because it's so close to the body, it can feel a little bit like it's pushing up against me a little too much. And I don't know, to me, I'm like, why are you so obsessed with me, you know? They match well with the top. I think that I've successfully avoided the pajama look with matching sets. That's always a risk. And I believe it fits the aesthetic of beach aesthetic really well. I'm realizing now that I've made a lot of true bias patterns this time around. I don't know why. I think that I just really like their instructions. So subconsciously, I think I gravitate towards true bias. Like if there's a look I'm going for, and if I can find a true bias pattern that matches it, I'm happy to like alter it slightly to fit that aesthetic. Great make. Can't say anything bad about the pattern. Or I think in these pieces, I wish the fabric was ever so slightly lighter. And I bet if I wash it enough, I bet it'll lighten up. Next, I have the True Bias Tobie jacket, another True Bias pattern. Really, really love this jacket. I don't have it with me right now. It's in my closet, but I'll post a picture of it right now. It is made out of this like really bright yellow Jackson Pollock style fabric. If you touch it, I actually have it right here. Maybe you can hear it crinkle. It's tablecloth material, essentially. I think, so I got this on Mood, and it was labeled as, okay, so I found the word. It was cosplay, but actually now that I look at the listing for this fabric, it does not say cosplay. It just says, lightweight yet durable. It features a sleek hand, crisp drape, and natural water resistance, perfect for fashion-forward projects. Create shimmering overalls, coveralls, bold parachute pants, reflective windbreakers, or statement bags and wallets that combine utility with standout style. Opaque. A lining is not necessary but can be added for increased structure. Okay, so it doesn't say anything about cosplay, but I was like imagining cosplay when I bought this fabric because that's just what I think of. I was hoping to materialize something that wasn't very cosplayish. I think I achieved that. It wasn't, the jacket didn't come out very cosplay-like, but it came out to be really fun and like kind of cool grunge, I would say. I like that aesthetic quite a bit. I like things that are loud in terms of color and fabric choice, and I don't really wear those kinds of things very often, but at the same time, whenever I see them on other people, I think they're so cool, and whenever I'm in the mood for that, now I have something that would be like, wow, I have exactly what I'm in the mood for. I get so many compliments on that jacket, and I kind of like that people remember me for that. I think that that's kind of cool. I did forget to actually, because the way the Tobie jacket is designed is that I believe that there's supposed to be either two openings or just side openings on the pockets. And I actually was just whizzing through the pattern as you do. I wasn't reading very carefully, and I just kind of assumed that I knew what I was doing, and I totally forgot to add the openings on the sides, so now my hands have to go up and down instead of sideways in, and it's a little awkward, but I feel like more can like fit in it now that it's up and down. Like my phone, I'm not worried about my phone like falling out. So I don't know, it was like a happy accident, you might say. Okay, so the next thing I made was the French Navy Roscoe sweater. Here it is. This fabric is from Guthrie Ghani, and it has the matching ribbing, which I just love matching ribbing, and whenever I see it, I am so tempted to get it. I have been eyeing yellow things recently, as you can tell, and it doesn't really matter to me what kind of yellow it is. I just love yellow, and after finding this, I was like, let's do it. Let's go for it. And the fabric, the fleece does not have very much stretch. I kind of like that because, as I said previously, when it stands a little bit on its own, instead of being like kind of floppy, drapey, or like cinching in, it creates kind of this layer of insulation inside. And it's almost like I don't need another layer on top. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, this isn't a magic sweater. Obviously, sometimes I need other layers. But most of the time in like a 60 to 70 temperature, this is perfectly fine. And I don't need anything else. And I don't feel like, I'm crawling out of my skin hot, or that I'm like so cold that I need to put on so many other layers. This is pretty versatile, I would say. I have put in a wrong zipper into this. I ordered the right zippers, which I forget what they're called, but they're just like fashion zippers that are not separating. And I thought I followed the pattern instructions for the length of zipper that it should be. And then after I received it and I was assembling everything, I realized that it was too long for the yoke, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to shorten the zipper, and the whole thing kind of intimidated me. I have shortened zippers before where I took pliers to the metal coil. Oh, and then the other thing is that I was having a really hard time finding a yellow that matched, because one of those things about yellow, when they don't match, it's very obvious. So I found a zipper that matched, but it wasn't the right zipper. So it has these like metal stops right here, and like normally they're okay, but then occasionally it like grazes my cheek in such an abrasive way. I don't love it. I also positioned the zipper ever so slightly lower than the edge. I don't know why I did that. Why did I do that? I don't know. And so now that there's like awkward little orphaned corners over here, I would say most people probably don't care. I care about these things on me. I don't care about them on other people. All I see usually on other people in passing is like the color and the shape. I don't look at details too much unless it's like something being sold in a store and I can walk up and inspect it just because I'm curious and want to feel snobbish. But joke's on me, because I'm not that snobbish, or don't have a right to be. I also overstretched the ribbing slightly in the front. I don't know why I did that either. I think what I was thinking in my head was, it'd be nice if it's slightly cinched in, but I think the ribbing isn't strong enough to hold up to the fleece, because the fleece is pretty sturdy. So it kind of tucks itself in under the sweater, almost like it's a little shy. And I think, again, this is one of those things that only I will notice, and I'm fine. I'm living with it, and we're not best friends, but we like each other. So it's fine, but it's one of those things to remember next time. Over here, I am currently working on the Helen's Closet Cameron shirt. This is a gift for someone else. I am waiting for some buttons to arrive for it. And I just love Helen's Closet patterns. They're great. I already fluffed up on it a little bit because I attached the collar, basically under collar upside. Did that make sense? So there's a top collar and the under collar, and I switched those around when I was attaching the collar, and I was really bummed because I really don't like to attach the collar like after I've attached the stand. I like to assemble the collar and the stand together and then attach it to the body. And I did that, realized it was wrong, had to undo, because you trim all those seam allowances and you grate it. So it was just very precarious to undo the stand without undoing all of those really fiddly seams. So what I ended up doing was I actually unpicked just the collar out of the stand, flipped it around, put it back in, and I didn't actually stitch it in like I did originally. I just top stitched it in. So we'll see, hopefully washing it doesn't get all the guts out. All right, what's next for me? So I have cut out a Jarrah sweater by Nielsen. It's probably going to be less of a warm sweater and more of like a extra layer on top. It's made out of this French terry that I got from Guthrie. It has stripes. You'll get to see it when I make it. And I'm really excited about it because I'm lacking one of those lighter layers to pull on, especially like under jackets, you know? And then I'm gonna make some, I've been doing a lot of kids clothes recently. My kids are at that age where they're starting to understand the power of sewing. So they're always like, oh, can you make me this out of such and such fabric? Or I'd really love a fabric that stretches for this project. Or my daughter frequently sees things in other people that are not widely available, and she'll be like, I need exactly that. And we can't make exactly that, but we'll usually brainstorm on how to find fabrics that are close enough. So in that vein, I have a bunch of patterns by Petits. We have the Gecko shorts for my son. I think as he becomes a little bit more active for summer camps, and it's like not really that hot, but also he like is a lot more physical, we need to switch to something a little bit shorter, shorts. So I think I'm gonna make him some shorts, and I'm gonna make my daughter some leggings and a t-shirt. A lot of these things are also like, oh, if I have some knit fabric left over, I'm like, I don't have enough for a piece for me, but maybe I can use it for them. It's a whole spiral. Sometimes it backfires because I stress myself out and I'm like, oh, I gotta save this piece of fabric, where it's like, okay, I feel like I'm just adding things to my plate. But in this case, I think they actually want the end result, so I think I'm gonna pursue it. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed the very first inaugural video of my channel. I hope you come back, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.